your hostess, and I have an amazing panel with me today. I'd like to introduce you to a group of amazing women, and our topic are men just as desperate to get married as women are. So to my right, I have the wonderful Miss Nadia, and then Ashley and Madonia, and they'll each tell you a little bit about themselves before we get going.
Hi, my name is Nadia Chikwese, and I was thrilled when I was invited to be a part of this team of beautiful women. I've recently gotten into Tracy Lynn Cosmetics, where we specialize in high-end costume jewelry. And the reason that I became involved is because I love to see a woman's expression changes when she's found that fabulous piece of jewelry that not only makes her feel good, but she looks good. Because I truly believe when you feel good, you look good, and beauty emanates from the inside out.
I am Ashley G.A.L.S. I am an author of Red Flags Run, which is soon to come out February 14, 2016. It's about the relationships I endured in the past, and where I ignored the red flags, it became an issue. And I just want to get women, men, children, everybody aware of the red flags, not to ignore the red flags, and to know that when you see a red flag, take heed and maybe you should run. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Madonia Caesar Durant, and I was tickled pink when Minnie asked us to be a part of this panel. I think it's a fabulous idea, and thank you. A little bit about myself. I'm a singer-songwriter. I released a CD called Black Swan in 2011. It was my first project, and I'm working on a second project. I'm also an author of children's books. I have one called The Adventures of Winston and Salem, which is about my cat, but it's a tribute to my hometown of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And the cat goes on adventures with his friends, so it's spoken from his voice. And I have another series of spiritually inspired short stories called Days Like This. That's going to come out sometime this year, so hopefully I'll be keeping you posted. Thanks.
So the reason we're gathered here today is really based on an incident that I went through. I went out on a date with the gentleman, and I don't really want to talk about who he is and what he does, except to say that he is a professional. Let that be known, a mature, professional, African-American man. And I don't want to stereotype anyone, so I'll just leave it at, he was the type of man that expected me on this date to be fully prepared for an interview. On the date, he asked me a series of questions. Do I want any more children? Where do I see myself in 4 years? What type of wedding would I have if I could have a wedding again? How soon could I meet his mother? If I was interested in going shopping with his sister. Now that's a bit much it was my first date with him. And I came to the conclusion, because I am single and I do date, I came to the conclusion that men are just as anxious about being married as women are. I thought that women were the only creatures, we were the only of the two creatures on this earth who really look forward to being married and even putting the pressure on men. But honestly, lately I have been getting a lot of pressure from different types of men and with different backgrounds, and they want to be married. So my panelists are going to bring a really interesting perspective, because of the women, these women are married, young authors, and entrepreneurs. So I thought it would be really interesting to get their take on what type of men are women, single women dating, and their scope on, their opinion rather, if men are just as desperate, seems to be the word, to be married as women. So Nadia, I'll begin with you.
Sure.
Because we had a very interesting conversation about yourself and your boyfriend.
Yes, we did.
Now, I am of Nigerian heritage, and you told me that your boyfriend is Nigerian.
Yes.
I want to say that African men, culturally, they are raised to be prepared for marriage.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I totally agree with you, because I was actually discussing this with him. And he actually told me that he believes that depending on culturally who you ask this question to, you're going to get a different response. He believes in marriage, and he believes that you get married when you're fairly young. I've also, because I have a unique perspective, because I am, like you know, half Nigerian, half Trinidadian, and I was born here. So I'm from 3 different backgrounds. If you ask the average West Indian man, he may be like, oh, why do I need to get married? I have time for that. I can, play the field now. Because I also spoke to a friend who was West Indian, and he was like, he's in no pressure, and he's in his early 40s. He feels no pressure to get married. So I think it really depends on whom you speak to, and culturally, that perspective is going to change as far as, do I want to get married? Do I want to get married young? Do I want to wait until I'm older? So that being said, yes, he is.
So I don't want to put any pressure on you, and for fear of putting your business on Front Street.
No pressure.
Do you, when you and your boyfriend are speaking about the future, do you stay away from the topic of marriage and he pushes toward marriage? Who's pushing toward marriage?
I don't think, because I would say this, he has been married before, so he's a divorcee. That being said, he's more cautious than he was in the previous marriage. He went into it all it was his first marriage. Having experienced what he did, he's a little more, and the relationship is fairly young. We've only been seeing each other for about 4 or 5 months. So marriage is not on the table. Yes, we discuss it, but no one is going down that road anytime soon. But it is something that he wants to embark on again. It's something that I definitely want to embark on. So we do speak of it.
Great. Ashley, you would be the youngest on this panel, because we're all young, but you are the younger of us all. In your experiences dating, because you have never been married,
No.
you have no children,
No.
are you or are you not anxious to get married, and do you meet men who are either on your level with your same expectations or different?
I am anxious to get married. I have not met anyone who is anxious. I've met a lot of men who lied, who cheated, that is not their top priority, to be married. They might lie and say they do in the beginning, but then eventually it comes out that it was a lie. And I do have one guy that I met actually in 2014 at a wedding. I met him the same day my sister met her fiance. She's getting married in Jamaica. Now my sister was pushing me, saying that I always date the wrong type of man. So the day of the wedding, I found out that he was 40. He had no kids. He has a house, 2 cars, works for Verizon, has worked for 18 years. And they pushed me to try to date him. And I said, okay, let me give it a try. I spoke to him on the phone a few times. Up to this day, we have never gone on a date. We are now in 2016.
From 2014?
Yes, Labor Day weekend. Now, my sister's engaged to the man she met the same night. To this day, we have never gone on a date. And matter of fact, he called me yesterday to ask if I could go ring shopping with him. We have never gone on a date. We have never kissed anything, nothing.
So technically, he is arranging a marriage with you without having interacted or being in an intimate relationship with you.
Correct.
He still has marriage on his mind.
In the beginning, he did not. He said nothing on the phone. He didn't have anything to say on the phone. He was a mute. I pushed, and I said, enough. And then when I left him alone and ignored his calls, that's when he was on the prowl, and still is. He wants to come to my sister's wedding with the intention of thinking we'll be together, and it's not. And I told him, we are not going to be together. It's not God ordained, so just leave it alone, and he will not. He still calls every day.
So basically, and